We drove over 3,500 kilometres from the Gold Coast to Melbourne and back again, in a caravan with 2 little kids. And it turned out to be one of the most unexpected, wonderful adventures yet. If you're planning a road trip in Australia, I'm sharing the scenic stops, hidden food gems, and caravan hacks that made this trip unforgettable. From beaches to forests to quirky roadside attractions, this might be just the ultimate Aussie East Coast road trip for families. Hi, I'm Danny, mum of 2 and creator of Vacay This, where we turn family travel into real-life learning adventures. We decided to do the road trip from Gold Coast to Melbourne. Melbourne is our original hometown where all of our family resides, and the kids haven't spent a Christmas with all of our extended family, and we have a big family. So we thought it would be such a wonderful idea for the kids to be able to spend their first Christmas all together. And we wanted to use this time to really have some quality family time together. So we opted to drive instead of fly. Now, in saying that, we do have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So driving, we already knew was going to have its challenges in itself. So I really was trying to plan strategically on what would be the best way to go about it. So what my original plan was to stop every couple of days and just do a few hours of driving, just to take the load off us, but also off them as well. It's a long drive, a long time to be stuck in the car. As we progress, and as you'll see as I move through this series, is that the further along we got, the kids were a little bit more resilient, so we kind of pushed that tether a little bit further. But we started off with just a few hours per day, which was so great for them and great for us as well. The bad side, which I will get to, was that we just didn't get to see as much as what we had hoped. But I'll get into that a little bit later, so keep watching. We stayed at each park, so we decided to do caravan parks. We're still new to this caravan life, so we did want to do caravan parks just to make sure we were a little bit more comfortable and stable with the kids being so far away from home. So we chose 2 nights per stay to make sure we were down in Melbourne for Christmas. Our aim was to get there by Christmas Eve. Stop 1 was Yamba, so just a couple of hours from home. That worked out well. We had a pit stop to give the kids a little bit of a rest and to stretch their legs. My dad used to take us on road trips all the time, and I remember stopping at all hours of the morning at all different roadside stops, and we just had a ball. I remember it was always a lolly time, it was always ice cream. It was just the most amazing time, and I wanted to bring that for the kids. So any chance there was a roadside stop that was locked in, and ice cream and lolly time, that was some of their memories, some of my great memories. I wanted to pass it on to my kids. We stayed at the NRMA Blue Dolphin. That was a fantastic stay. Highly recommend that stay. The park amenities are incredible. They have multiple pools, multiple water slides, a pump track, a couple of different playgrounds, jumping pillow. It's right on the lake, so beautiful morning walks and morning views. It's a short stroll into town, probably a little bit far for the little legs to walk, but if you have a bike or if they've got bikes, you've got a pram, easy, nice stroll into town. The park itself is a little bit dated just in terms of bathrooms and laundry facilities, that sort of thing, but it doesn't take away any of the facilities that they had, and I would definitely stay there again. We had a 2-night stay. We had a powered site, and that cost us $313. This is the start of our trip. We had a caravan full of food that we took from home, so we tried not to eat out for most of the duration of the trip, just because I wanted to use up all of our food, and why waste it? So we did eat a lot of cooked and pre-cooked meals. So we barely spent anything here besides coffees and ice cream. We barely spent anything in Yamba. What did my kids love the most? It was definitely the rock climbing room. So they had a room that was all superheroes all along the wall. My son loved it. He called it the superhero room. That was his favorite by far. We spent a lot of time in there. That was fun. Also the pool, they had a little water slide. The water slides and the pools were very cold when we were there. It didn't stop my kids. They were going up and down the water slide over and over and over again. The pump track was fantastic. They had a little one kind of to practice on, and then the big one, which was amazing. Stop 2 is Bonny Hills. Bonny Hills was so unexpected to me. When I was planning this trip, I did it based on duration in the car. So I was just kind of looking for, you know, every 2 to 3 hours we'd stop. So purely based on maps was my pick, and then what was around and available at the time. And Bonny Hills was available, looked really good, had great facilities. And it was super, super cute. It really, really was. This town is quiet. Bonny Hills is so quiet. There was 2 caravan parks nestled with a surf lifesaving club in between, right on the water. And that's kind of about it. The closest town was about a 10-minute drive away, which was very, very beautiful as well. The caravan park we stayed at Ingenia Holidays, Bonny Hills. As soon as you drive in, you could see the splash park that they had with their pool. It was through some bushland right onto the beach. It had your jumping pillow, it had mini golf that the kids loved, a small playground, another couple of small kind of older pools. But enough to keep the kids busy. They've really enjoyed this time. It was more of a laid back. We didn't really leave the caravan park, so they have time to do some learning, which you will see that I'm very keen on when we travel. Our favourite thing about this caravan park in Bonny Hills was our site. We got a drive-through site. We are still new to this camping and caravan driving and reversing. So to get a drive-through site was very, very exciting. And it was so easy. Hint, hint, caravan parks, if you can do some more like that. The setup was so quick. We drove in, set up the water, unpacked a couple of things, and we were done. And we just got more time to spend with the kids rather than, you know, I mean, our first time, I think we spent about 40 minutes trying to reverse it in, and then, you know, me and my husband were having a bit of an argument, you know, as you do, trying to get this all sorted. So it just makes life and the trip with the family is so much less stressful. So win, absolute win. We stayed at this site for 2 nights. We had the drive-through site, as I mentioned, and this cost us $199 for the 2 nights. Stop 3 was Umina Beach. And there was a local in the pool that I was talking to on the day, and I said, is it Umina or Umina? And she said, it's Umina. So I got that clarified, Umina Beach. This was a fantastic stay. The amenities in this caravan park were unbelievable, and a huge park, absolutely massive. They had 2 massive pools. It looked like some of the facilities are brand new. So one of the pools looked very new, and a couple of water slides. Kids loved the water slides. They were a massive hit. They had a little splash area for the little ones, which was fantastic, so they didn't get run over or knocked over from the big kids. They had 2 jumping pillows, one with different age groups. So again, the littlies didn't get trampled all over. They had a beautiful outdoor and humongous playgrounds. The playground and the jumping pillows were right on the beach. It was only a short walk into town, so with the little ones, chuck them in the pram, or if they got bikes, it was only kind of a 10-minute walk into town, which was very, very nice, very convenient. All your shops, your eateries, your surf lifesaving clubs, all of those kind of things are short walks, so not too far, easily accessible for all. The only negative for this park would be the size felt a bit small, and we were very lucky when we arrived, there was no one there, so we could drive in, even though we didn't get a drive-through site. We could actually just drive into our site, which we were very thankful for. The person next to us was an experienced caravaner, and they struggled to get into their site. So it was just kind of the curves and the roads, they were just, where we were in particular, was just a little bit tight to get into. So that was probably the only downfall. Like the way out for us, we were kind of right next to the tennis courts, and trying to kind of hook our car up, we kind of had to reverse a little bit and then go, and then reverse a little bit and then go, just to try to get out of the site. So even that in itself kind of proves that they were a little bit small. The cost here at Umina Beach was a little bit more than the others. So we had, again, a 2-night stay. It was around $288. Which was a little bit more expensive than some of the other parks, but the facilities were just incredible. So that kind of makes sense that it's a little bit more expensive. Stop 4, Lake Conjola. This was another very beautiful surprise. When I booked this, again, same thing, just looking for kind of every few hours stop for the kids. This one came up, looked like it had great facilities, and booked, and wow, what a surprise. It was mostly freeway on the way, or the highway, until you get off at Lake Conjola, and then you're kind of going down and you're just seeing this lake to your left. We stayed at Ingenia Holidays, and again, fantastic. We scored with a premium Lakeview site. So we were only about 4 or 5 down from the actual water, which was just so beautiful. This beautiful lake, pelicans swimming, you can fish in there, you can go out in the kayaks, so picturesque. The park was huge. A lot of seasonal and private residences and caravans that stay there year round. So it felt a little bit more quiet, even though it was really quite full. The amenities were great. So it looked like there's a brand new pool and splash park. The pool was really good because it had a sand area. So especially for the little ones, you could kind of walk in, they could splash around, they could play until they felt comfortable with the depth. They had a splash park. They had a little indoor games area and a little indoor place in it, again, for the little ones. They had the go-karts. They had a humongous jumping pillow. Again, they had 2 jumping pillows by age, which made it a lot easier. It was right near a local bowls club. We were lucky enough when we were there was raffle night on. So we got to participate in the raffle, which was amazing. We didn't win. But the kids got a little gift pack and they were wrapped with that. It was such a good vibe when we were there, and apparently very busy. The lady at the front desk told us to make sure you book because it does get quite busy. I would assume with not much else around that it does get quite busy. So for cost in Lake Conjola, we did go out to the Bowls Club and have our dinner, plus our ice creams and our coffees, standard. So we did spend a little bit more here just because we had that night out. 2 nights we stayed here. It was $286. So again, a little bit more expensive, but for the facilities, I would say that that's probably not too bad. I will say the only thing to this is you need to go prepared, because the closest town was a good 10-15 minutes drive away. So if you didn't have dinner, that is a long drive to go and get some dinner. I think there was only kind of a couple of convenience stores, if that, in the town. We had one in the caravan park, but that closed at 4. So you do need to make sure you are prepared food-wise. But a perfect holiday if you want to go and relax, if you're out in the water, if you're boat people or adventurers and you love to go out for the day on the water, come back, have your barbecue, have a couple of drinks and head on to bed. Perfect. You could stay there for a week easily and do those kind of things. I would definitely go back to Lake Conjola for that kind of holiday. It's definitely on my list to go back to. Stop 5, Lake Wallaga or Wallaga Lake. Not quite sure. I think it's Lake Wallaga, but we stayed at the Big 4 Wallaga Lake. This was a great park, very quiet park, a place where you would go to relax, and if you're a boatie or like to be on the water, a perfect place to do that. We spent our time fishing. Pretty much. My son is starting out fishing, so we were there kind of morning and night. And when we went there, we were in Namnycca, which I was a massive fan on. Namnycca is beautiful if you haven't been. A nice, beautiful, quiet coastal beach town, but absolutely gorgeous. The water is crystal clear. I live on the Gold Coast where water is gorgeous anyway, but this place was something else. We were going over a bridge and there was rocks, and you could actually see, I mean, you can imagine how deep the water is if you're going over a bridge, and you could see the rocks down at the bottom of the ocean. It was just crystal clear, absolutely gorgeous. Highlights for this would definitely be Namnycca. We hired e-bikes and did the Namnycca to Dalmini trail. Nice, easy-ish trail. My husband was towing our 2 little ones, so he probably wouldn't agree that it was a nice, easy trail, but for me it was lovely. It takes you a couple of hours there and back. We stopped for some fish and chips when we got to Dalmini. The e-bikes cost us about $150 for the day. It was raining when we went, but that didn't stop us, and it didn't stop the actual ride from going ahead, so bonus. We had a lovely bowls club dinner in Narooma. I love a good bowls club. It had some live music, outdoor area, outdoor playgrounds. So we spent our arvo there. The kids were just playing. They made some little friends. They were just playing, chasing seagulls. And we got to sit there, have a nice dinner and watch the band. So win for us. We had 2 nights at the Big 4 Wallaga Lake. We were lucky enough to score a waterfront site. So we were waterfront. Our view was the water. It was absolutely gorgeous. That cost us $181.80. The caravan park probably wouldn't go back to again. It was lovely. I enjoyed it. They had a brewery there. They had a jumping pillow. They had a pool, albeit quite small, and at the top of a hill, which was a little bit hard for most people to get to if you're staying at the bottom of the hill where we were. But a beautiful scenic stay. Great to see it, but I probably wouldn't stay there again. Stop 6 is Melbourne. We drove from Lake Wallaga to Melbourne in one trip. And so if we rewind back to the start of the video when I said as time went on we got longer and a little bit more confident, we did that. We were meant to stop at Lake's entrance, but we decided, you know what, we are so happy to see the family, so excited to see the family, let's just keep going, and we did. So we did a solid 10-hour day that day with all of our stops. The kids were troopers. They done so well, although we're extremely over it when we got there, but we had the bribe of seeing the family when we got to Melbourne, so that kept them going. Lots of stops, lots of ice cream, lots of junk food, but we made it and everyone was sane. Again, this is the whole reason why we were down, was to spend Christmas with the family. So we were very excited. We stayed with my mum for the duration, so this part of the trip was free, thanks mum. Free accommodation, free food, which is fantastic. We were very busy, so getting there Christmas, we have large families, so Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, we're extremely busy with celebrations and catching up with everyone. Cup was very much filled for all of us. I don't think I heard my son's voice as high-pitched as what I've ever heard it before. The kids absolutely loved it. And stop 7. Now this is my favorite stop. This is definitely biased because I have the emotional connection here, but stop 7 is Echuca. We stay at the NRMA Echuca Caravan Park and we have always stayed there. It's been renamed a couple of times, but this is our favorite caravan park, just again purely because the emotional side of it, but it does have the great facilities. A little bit of background, my grandpa had a caravan at this caravan park. He had a permanent site. We would go there every Christmas and I would spend probably 5-6 weeks every Christmas of the school holidays there. We took the kids last year and we absolutely loved it. It was such an emotional stay for us. And then going back now and spending the time with the family just filled my cup up to the brim. It's a place where you just feel home. If anyone has that feeling of when you go away and you just have that feeling of home, that's what Echuca is to me. It just, I feel like I breathe easier. I know what to expect. It's just home. And my family feel the same way. Caravan Park, it has been refurbished and I think it is continuing to be refurbed. So there's a brand new splash park. They've redone the playground. There's tennis courts. There's a pool, slightly older, but there's a big pool there. Some of the cabins, the older cabins have been refurbished. They've got some new cabins there that look incredible and accessible. It's right on the Murray River. Open the gate, walk down, you're right on the Murray. It's an easy walk into town. It's only about a 10-minute walk and quite easy. I mean, we didn't have a pram. We had the kids kind of on our back walking next to us. 10-minute walk, easy. Right into all the shops, into Old Town where the paddle steamers are. You definitely need more than a weekender here, I would say. I mean, if you're just doing a stopover, that's fine. But usually the best time is around the warmer months. And I feel like you definitely need more time, just again to have that relaxation time, the time to explore the town itself and to kind of explore some surrounding areas. Stop 8 and 9, I'm gonna breeze through these. We were gunning at home. The kids had proved that they could do longer trips, so we tested them out again with that. So stop 8 for us was Yass. We barely made it here by 6 o'clock. We set up really quick. We got a drive-through site in the Yass Caravan Park. This was the council-owned caravan park. set up, went out for dinner, beautiful pub dinner, massive playground for the kids. They loved it. I think we spent about 2 or 3 hours there. Get home, we all pretty much passed out and back on the road at 7 o'clock the next morning. So not a lot to spend in Yass. I did see a lot of signs for wineries and things. So if you're into that, definitely recommend to stay there. The town looked super cute. This pub was amazing that we went to, and very busy for, you know, for a Friday night. Stop 9 was Namnycca Heads. Now this, I'm so disappointed in this, and I don't have much to share again because by the time we got there it was about 6 o'clock. We got some dinner, the kids had a play, and we were off again the next morning. But I would definitely be going back here. So we stayed at the Big 4 Tasman, the holiday park in Namnycca Heads, and we would definitely go back there. It was a small park. We had a drive-through site, although the site felt small because, I mean, it was very busy. So when we're going in there, it was quite tight. But definitely recommended. We would definitely go back and stay there. The park had water slides, the pool, it had your eateries there, your pop-up kind of caravan dinners, which was amazing, playgrounds, jumping pillow, it had all your facilities right on the beach. The town looked very, very cute, so we would definitely go back there. But unfortunately, I don't have much to share or much photos to share because we're in and out. Road trip reality. All right, let's talk some real talk. It was amazing. I loved it. I love road trips. I've grown up on road trips, as I've said. The kids, it was their first big long trip. They struggled at times, but were otherwise so resilient, and I was so proud of them. Snacks help, making sure the iPads are charged, making sure you've got games on the iPads, making sure you've got games easily accessible, making sure you've got games to play with the kids. I Spy was a big hit. Otherwise, regular stops. As long as we stopped, we got them to stretch their legs, have a little play where there was lollies and ice creams. Perfect. What would I do differently? I would definitely stay longer, drive further. So again, I done it strategically this time because I had a goal in mind and a date, and it was a kid's first road trip. But next time I would definitely drive that little bit further to stay a little bit longer. So we had time to explore the town, but also have some relaxation time and some family time together. The top 5 highlights of the trip. I would have to say the best scenic stop for me would probably be Lake Conjola. Lake Conjola was just absolutely gorgeous. It was quiet, it was peaceful, there was so much nature around. I had never seen so many kangaroos in all of my life. Only one spot too. There was just so much nature. It was so beautiful, so peaceful, so quiet. I'm sure in the peak of summer that would be different, but I think it would still just be as magical. To have the lake and the ocean there, to have the best of both worlds, was just pure magic. The best caravan park. Now this was a toughie. We stayed in quite a few. And I obviously have the emotional connection to Echuca, but if I take that aside, I would probably say Yamba. Even though it was a slightly older park, the facilities just outweighed any of that. To have the pools, a swim-up bar, even for adults, all the different rooms for the kids, you know, an older movie-style room, the rock climbing wall, all different playgrounds. There was just so many facilities for kids that they just wouldn't get bored at all. And to be so close to town as well, I think that definitely wins out. And a perk, it's only a couple of hours from home, so we can go at any time. The best kid moment, I'd probably have to say Umina Beach. Umina Beach, it was just so accessible. It was close to town. There was so many activities for the kids. That would be my second best caravan park. There was so many activities for kids. The beach was right there. But the best thing for me was the kids barely touched anything indoors. Games, the iPads, even having food inside. They were just outdoors at all times. So we were making boats, we were painting, they were colouring outside, they were playing some games outside, they were playing with nature, riding their bikes, using all the facilities. The only time they really came inside was when it was time for bed. That was probably my favourite moment. And that's what I want when we go camping. Would I do it again? Absolutely, 100%. The total cost of the trip? So if I think about the accommodation, the fuel, the food, the shopping, all that kind of stuff, it was just under about 4.5 grand, which I think that was quite reasonable. Thanks for watching our great Aussie East Coast adventure. Subscribe if you want to know more. We'll be doing some more international destinations as well as some more hotel reviews and park reviews. So stick around.